fight against the dark part of me that wants to beg for more. A dark part that has found a voice and is trying to break free. And today, Jen and I are discussing Haunting Adeline by...
H.D. Carlton.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought that that's what the name was, but, you know. I don't even know where to begin with this book.
We can begin
Yeah.
with the gun scene.
I didn't really care for that.
It was, yeah.
I'm pretty sure the one in Den of Vipers was way hotter than that one.
I have
Maybe.
not read Den of Vipers yet. It's on my
Maybe.
list.
Or maybe that's why I wasn't as shocked by it, is because I'd read it before.
Yeah.
Something similar.
Yeah.
I struggled so hard with this book.
Which
And not...
shocks me because it is a true stalker romance.
Yes.
Like,
and it hits like all of my things.
it
But
does.
I'm learning that writing style is very important. And
Oh,
this
well,
is
yeah.
not a very good writing style. And I think that's why I struggled so much with it.
Yeah.
I hated her perspective. Absolutely hated it. To where most of it I just skimmed or skipped because I didn't fucking care. Her trying to solve the mystery of her great-grandmother's death. Really, I mean, at the end, I guess it kind of comes together, but you don't know that. And I'm just like, this is a fucking waste of space. Like, can we move on?
Yeah.
I don't care about this character's not here. I skipped all the letters. I think I read the first 2, maybe the first 3, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I did not care about it. I don't know how many times I can say I didn't care, but that is the theme for this book is I just didn't care. It really didn't push the story forward, and
Yeah.
I felt like she had like 5 things going on at the same time, and it was just too much. It was way too much.
Yeah. I don't disagree because you have like the whole organization that Z runs, and then you have like the mystery with the grandmother, the stalker perspective for I can't remember the main female character's name.
Adeline.
Oh man, I love that name. Oh yeah, it's in the title, you dumbass.
I was waiting for that.
This is cup of coffee number 2, so I can't even blame it on not having coffee, and it's hot. So like, that's funny. And then you have like the actual story of them developing the relationship. So like I completely agree. I think it's a lot going on in one story, and so when I read this book, I think I read it in 2022. So it's been almost 3 years since I've read it. And it was my first like foray into a dark romance book. And it was definitely like my gateway into dark romance because I was like, okay, like I could handle this, and this was supposed to be at the like for me at the time, like that was as rough as I had read.
Mm-hmm.
But really, like I feel like most of the hard storylines are in book 2. I feel like this book, like I remember like I enjoyed reading it, but it wasn't, I think it was overhyped, I think is the best way to say it for me.
100%. It was way overhyped.
Yeah. And I feel like I can say that even more firmly now because I've read so many other dark romance books at this point that I feel like I would have the same perspective as you if I were to read it for the first time now, having as much history with dark romance that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I also... Oh,
go
go
ahead.
on. No, you go. I was
No,
going to
I
say,
was just.
shall we do rock, paper, scissors?
No, you go, because really, I wasn't gonna add much.
I almost feel like she did some of the things just for shock value.
Yes, yeah. That's. I feel like that's so much of book 2, too.
Okay.
Like for me, book 2 is it. I will say this: it's more action packed. It's more fast paced. So in those things,
I already got spoilers from it. My sister read the series and I asked her. So,
okay. So like in those things, I liked it, and I did like that it wasn't an immediate rescue.
Mhm.
So I feel like book 2 was better put together, but there was so much bad that happened in it. It was kind of one of those, like,
We
why
don't need to
is
see
this
this on page.
like, why does it need to happen? Like,
Mhm.
why? It's just it just it's kind of the lack of carrying the story from book 1 to book 2 reminds me very much of, like, Dead Sailor or Dead Tailors. I always mess that
Dead
up.
Soldiers versus Tailors.
Yes, that duet. Like, where the second book was so disjointed from the first,
Mhm.
it was just like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
It was not that disjointed, but it was definitely so different from the first book that I mean, I feel like you could almost read it separately.
Okay. Yeah, my sister had said the same kind of things. She just said that it was so repetitive that nothing moved forward for like the first quarter to half the book that she just stopped reading it because it was just
Yeah.
repetitive.
Yeah. I
And that
mean,
happens quite a bit in the first one too.
mhm.
If I have to hear one more time that the fucking manor is haunted, I'm gonna shoot somebody.
Well, I think it would have been a better, like, one book. Like, cut out
Mhm.
half of, like, if you cut out all of the grandmother stuff,
Yep.
and if you cut out, like, half of the probably, like, half of the sex scenes or, like, building up scenes between Adeline and Zaid, and then you took half of the sex trafficking scenes out of the second book, and then combined what was left into one, like, 600-page book,
Mhm.
I think it would be really, really good. I think you could progress the story where she does still get kidnapped, she does still get sex trafficked, she does have trauma, and he does rescue her, but it's on a it's a fast-paced,
Mhm.
action-packed stalker romance versus a
Trying to
stalker
do
romance.
a romance plus a mystery plus a gothic romance,
Yes.
whatever fucking else she was trying to do.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
enjoyed his perspective way more because I felt like it pushed the story, like, things were constantly changing during his perspective, but I was
Mhm.
really annoyed with the chapter titles, The Shadow and The Manipulator, like, I don't fucking understand. How is she the
Yeah.
manipulator?
Right.
At what point does that explain anything? Him being the shadow, I get that,
Mhm.
with his job and his character and how, he stalked her, but yeah, I did there were just so many things I hated about this book. And it's really sad because like you said, it's an actual stalker. There's dubious non-com. Like, I mean, even like the feel of the gothicness of the house really
Yeah.
played into it. I loved the idea of mirroring her grandmother having a stalker and her having a stalker. And they talk about maybe we're reincarnated because you're mine in every life. Like, I just wish that would had developed better. And that could have
Yeah.
been the whole fucking story.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right? So I just felt like there were more things that were left unanswered or again that were just thrown in there to fill the spaces.
Right.
And I don't have time for that. I just don't. Look,
Yeah.
it's been like 5 days and I still have like 4 chapters left. 5 days for me to read a
Yeah,
book.
that's wild. Yeah.
And that's forcing myself to pick it up and like you have to read a little bit, Misty. You are recording on Monday, like you have no choice. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that was just yeah. I got in bed last night and I'm like, I do not want to read this stupid motherfucking book. As I open it up and I'm like, fuck, this is where I'm at. So yeah. I think it was overhyped. I think if the writing style was better, I think if the flow of the story had changed, and I think if not too many shit was going on,
Yeah.
it would have just went way better. And don't even get me started on the fact that she's a fucking romance writer. I hate when the main female
Oh, I
characters
forgot about
are romance authors in the book. That just irritates me, and I have no logical reason for it. It just does. It's
I
not to
forgot
say
about
that I
that.
don't read them, but it's irritating.
Yeah.
And then it's only, like, the first part, and then it, like, disappears. She's, like, no longer a writer anymore. I think there may be one scene where she's at the cafe and apparently she's writing, and then that's
Yeah,
it. So, like, that didn't even need to be in the book.
true.
Hmm. Okay. I don't know. I don't think I have very good things to say about it. It's definitely probably gonna sit with me for a minute, and I don't think I'm gonna read the second book. Or maybe
Yeah,
I'll read the second book after all of the essay on the page when it shifts, because I really don't wanna read that, to be honest. It
yeah,
happens multiple times
yeah,
consistently for half the book. Like, I just don't wanna read that.
yeah. Don't blame me there.
Yeah.
So, was there any aspect of it that you did like?
I liked how Zayd was completely honest with his obsession with her.
Yeah.
Like, he never
I
lied to
liked
her.
Zayd.
I do like Zayd. I
Yeah.
don't like Zayd, the vigilante stopping child sex trafficking rings and rituals. I don't like that Zayd. I like Stalker Zayd.
Oh, no, I like Zayd because of his mission.
I love that he has the mission and that he takes his darkness and he uses it for good. Like, I definitely
Yeah.
love that. But I don't think that we needed that much in it in the book. And so if to me it felt like it took away from what I consider to be the main part of the book, which is him stalking her. Like, I
Right.
just it kept on pulling him away from her, and I'm like, "Well, what's the point?" You know? It was a distraction. Not that it couldn't have been in the background, but I don't think I
Yeah.
needed to see it as much.
Yeah.
I like his relationship with Jay. I was
Mhm.
so convinced that it was Daya, that Daya was Jay. I'm like, "She has to work from him." Like, I don't these little hints of being a hawker and, like, doing, working or whatever, and then when he was like, "Yeah, 2 of my employees unsuspectedly put in security to save her from me." I was like, "I knew it!" But then I realized that Jay is actually a dude, so
Yeah.
and not like a pseudonym for her to protect her.
Yeah.
And as much as I complained about them talking about the house being haunted, I really, really was hoping that it would be like really have a really good gothic theme throughout it, but it didn't. But it
Yeah.
had the potential, and I think I liked that. I really, him feeling it, her feeling it, seeing the shadows, seeing the top hat dude out in the yard that you only see at the beginning and then it never pops up again. Unless it
Mhm.
pops up in the last 3 chapters that I haven't read, because 'cause I'm on chapter 39 or 40, and I think there's only 42. I really it set up very potential for it.
Yeah.
And I think the hottest scene was the primal where he chased her through the woods in the rain.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I didn't like the funhouse, the mirror scene. I mean, you got 4 guys who are trying to essentially kidnap your girlfriend to sell her for sex trading, and you're going to fuck her at the same haunted house that they're in. Like, that didn't make sense to me. I mean, we learn later on that, the broken doll, Sibby, whatever her name is, had them tied up, but I'm like, I just didn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, I think that's where when you meet Sibby and her 4 henchmen.
Who may
She
or may
has
not be real.
I don't know. I haven't read her book. So,
What's her book called?
Satan's Affair, I think.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. So it's definitely
I
a book I would read. And I mean, I would read there's a couple of H.D. Carlton's books that I want to read. I
I
think
agree.
Why Does It Hurt is one. Phantom is another that actually another friend of mine and I were talking about doing a buddy read for it. And there's another H.D. Carlton. I can't remember.
Yeah, I would probably give her a second try.
Yeah.
Not willingly, but I would give her a
Listen, if
second
you
try.
can give J.T. Geisinger or
That's
however
only
you
why
say,
I said that.
if you
Okay.
can do that one again, you can do H.D. Carlton again.
That's why I said unwillingly because I did not do it willingly, okay?
That's fair. Still.
I would do it. I just, just to see if it actually gets better.
It's funny.
Okay, I got nothing else. Do you? What
Nope.
did you like about it?
Zayd. I mean,
Just
that's
Zayd.
yeah, that I mean, I really liked how intelligent he was. I liked his organization, like literally like the organization, not that he was organized. I mean, he was ruthless when it came to her, which I will always take a ruthless MMC. Yeah. I mean, those were my best like takeaways. I never really liked her as a character either. And I think, in all honesty, I think she gets more unlikable in book two, if I'm remembering correctly. So
That doesn't surprise me. Because she's
I
probably going to
didn't.
try and blame him for it, like she tries to blame everything else on him.
Uh, I don't remember that. I don't. Well, I don't
Yeah.
remember well enough. But
She's like, it's your fault that Archie came after me. And he's like, no, honey, you went to the club and you went upstairs with him. That's your fault that he was in your life. I just took care of him so he wouldn't beat and rape you.
right, yeah,
And then she's like, it's your fault that Max is in my life. He's like, a little, but not really. Max wouldn't have been in your life if you hadn't gone up the stairs with Archie.
right,
Then she's
yeah,
like, it's your fault that Mark's in my life. And he's like, actually, no. No, it's not. Apparently, they had you marked for the society before I even stepped in because of who your grandmother is. So, like, she just kept on trying to blame him for things. It was irritating.
yeah,
Okay. Are we ready for ratings?
yeah. I think so.
Darkness. I
I
hate to say
mean,
this. I hate to say it. But it at least has to be a 4.
hmm yeah, at least for book one, I think you can get away with just a four. For book
Yeah.
two, I think you'd have to be a five.
Which I'm so glad we're not reading book 5 because I do not want that in our top scale.
It's
Is
fair.
that mean? That's probably mean. Sorry. Sorry for all those who love this book. Do not come after us or me. But yeah, I think it has to be a 4 because of the sex trafficking and the rituals. With her with the dubious non-consent or in her head like you like, so it's not, you know, we get her true reaction. So yeah, I would say 4. And then spicy 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say four.
I think it kind of the primal, all the
You
things happening in the house. I mean, even though I didn't like the fun house.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
3.5, 4, yeah, 4. Overall, I really want to say a 1.
I was gonna say two.
I think a
I
2. And that's a lie. I'm gonna go with 1.
yeah, I was gonna see if I did a TikTok video when I don't think I was doing TikTok videos when I read it, but
Like
now
I
I'm like
just
really curious.
I'm giving it a 1 more so on how the book made me feel
Yeah,
and because I just dreaded having to pick it up every single night that I had to pick it up to read it. Like
which is fair.
I just can't. Maybe if I was in a different headspace, maybe a 2.
No,
Yeah, I don't think so. I was trying to play devil's advocate. Trying to be logical, Jen, like you. Okay, apparently I'm not doing a good job.
no, I just know you well enough to know,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah. So 1. And so you're doing a 2.
Yep.
I feel like that's a good. I don't think we have anything unless you want to expand on your 2. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. I
Shall we
agree.
close out with a little talking about the Kickstarter?
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you talk about the Kickstarter?
Maybe I should have prepared a speech. Okay, listeners, thanks for hanging out with us today on this episode. For those of you who don't know, yesterday we launched our very first Kickstarter. It's a Make 100 Kickstarter, and it is for a reading deck and card game that Jen and I came up with, and it's called What's Your Next Read? It's going on for the rest of January, I should say, not the whole month of January, because it launched on the 12th and it'll end on the 31st at noon. So please feel free to check it out. And we hope that you like it and that you're willing to back and support us as we try and get this reading deck and game out to you guys. I don't know what
Yay!
else to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
super
I'm super
excited.
excited. Yeah,
My
super excited.
the prototype should hopefully be in today or tomorrow. It was in Irving on Saturday, so
Yay!
yeah, I'm
That's
excited.
awesome.
It's just so exciting. Okay. Yay. Okay.
All right, so how can they find us on the Kickstarter?
I will drop the link in the show notes and it's also posted on our social media.
Yay! We would love your support, you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on the journey into the shadows of love, where dark romance stories come to light.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bones of the Story as much as we did. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us.
And to stay updated on all things dark romance, follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, ideas, or even your own dark romance stories with us. Drop us a line at bonesofthestory@gmail.com.
Remember, our next tantalizing episode is just around the corner, so keep your hearts open and your senses sharp.
Until then, embrace the darkness and let the stories continue to stir your deepest desires.
This is Misty
And Jenn,
signing off
from Bones of the Story.